Ever get that weird little pain in your eye when you blink? You know, that feeling like something's in there poking you, but when you check, there's nothing to see.
Oh, I know that feeling. It's like your eye is trying to tell you something,
Well,
right? Sending you a secret message.
exactly. And figuring out that message is what this deep dive is all about. We're using that really interesting material you sent over, kind of like your own personal eye pain decoder ring.
I was so impressed when I saw it. It's amazing how it lays out all these different things that could be causing your eye pain. A and D helps you figure out if it's no big deal or if it's something you need to see a doctor about.
Right. No one wants to be running to the ER every time their eye twitches a little. So, your eye pain decoder ring covers a lot of territory from everyday things we all deal with to those uh-oh situations.
And the information in there gives you the power to tell the difference. That's the best part.
For sure. So, let's start with the usual suspects. What are some of the most common reasons people have eye pain when they blink?
Well, your material highlights a few culprits that many of us are guilty of ignoring. Dry eyes are a huge one, especially with how much time we all spend staring at screens these days.
Yeah, true.
And then there's good old lack of sleep. Who needs 8 hours anyway? And of course, stress can show up in all sorts of weird ways, including in our eyes.
Okay, so none of those things are exactly a recipe for good health overall, but what's the connection to eye pain specifically?
Okay, so picture this. Every time you blink, your eyelids are spreading this thin layer of tears over your eyes. It's like lubrication, right? But when your eyes are dry, each blink is like taking sandpaper to them.
Ouch. Yeah, ouch is right. Makes sense. I'm guessing being tired and stressed just makes that whole dry eye situation even worse then. Right.
100%. When you're sleep deprived, your body just doesn't produce as many tears. It's that simple.
Hmm.
And stress, well, your body goes into fight or flight mode, and making tears just isn't high on its priority list at that point.
So basically, our modern lifestyle is a recipe for eye irritation. That's eye opening. We're practically programmed for it these days. But this is where your eye pain decoder ring gets really interesting because it doesn't just stop at those everyday things, it goes deeper. It also talks about some more serious possibilities, right?
Absolutely. And that's why paying attention to what your body is telling you is so, so important. If the eye pain isn't going away, or if it's more than just a minor annoyance, or you notice some other unusual things going on at the same time, that's your sign to dig a little deeper.
Like a warning sign.
Exactly.
And your eye pain decoder ring calls them red flags, which I love. So let's talk about those warning signs for a minute. You mentioned things like changes in your vision, really intense pain, even pain that seems to be coming from your sinuses. Should we be worried if we start experiencing any of those things?
You're worried? No.
Yeah.
But they are definitely a sign to be proactive. Think of it like your body's waving its hands trying to get your attention.
And ignoring those waving hands is probably not the best strategy.
Not a good look. For example, let's take that sudden eye pain that seems connected to your sinuses. It's a perfect example of how everything in the body is connected. So inflammation in your sinuses can actually end up putting pressure on the nerves around your eyes. And what happens when those nerves get compressed? Pain.
Hold on. So when my sinuses are acting up, it's not just a coincidence that my eyes feel weird too.
Not even a little bit. It's all connected. And another red flag your decoder ring mentions is changes in your vision. This
What?
one is really important.
Vision changes. Okay, yeah, that one does sound a little scary. What kind of things should we be looking out for exactly, and what could it mean if we're having those?
Yeah, good question. So blurry vision is definitely one to watch out for. Or seeing halos around lights.
Like, I don't know, like rainbows or something.
Yeah, exactly. It can look like that.
Hmm.
And those could be signs of some more serious stuff. Imagine your optic nerve is like a cable that sends signals from your eye to your brain.
Okay, I'm with you.
Things like blurry vision. They could be pointing to a problem with your cornea, that's the clear front part of your eye, or with your retina, that's the back of your eye that senses light. It can even be a sign of something like glaucoma.
Glaucoma. Yeah, your eye pain decoder ring definitely mentioned that one.
Right.
And it did not sound like something you want to mess around with.
No, definitely not. Glaucoma is actually like a whole group of eye conditions that damage the optic nerve, that cable we were talking about, remember? And that damage, if it's not caught early, it can lead to vision loss.
Oh, wow.
And the thing is, a lot of times, it develops really slowly.
So you wouldn't even know it's happening until it's too late.
Exactly. And to make it even trickier, there's often no pain at all in the early stages.
Oh, no.
But, and this is a big but, that's why those red flag symptoms, those warning signs that your eye pain decoder ring talks about, are so important. If you suddenly start having really intense eye pain, especially if it's along with other things like nausea, vomiting, or even those halos around lights we were just talking about, it could be a sign of something called acute angle closure glaucoma, which is a medical emergency.
Okay, you've got my attention now. So basically, we've got to pay attention to what our bodies are telling us.
100%.
And speaking of paying attention, your eye pain decoder ring also mentions a few other conditions to be aware of.
Yes. It talks about things like corneal ulcers, basically like having a cut on the surface of your eye, and iritis. That's when the colored part of your eye gets inflamed.
Ouch.
Yeah. So with those, you might have pain, redness, light sensitivity. Your eyes might feel really sensitive to light, and even vision problems if they're not treated.
Okay, so definitely not something you want to just ignore and hope it goes away on its own.
Definitely not.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. The different things that can cause eye pain, especially when we blink, and the red flags that tell us it's time to get help. But what about treatment? That's what I really want to know about. What can we actually do about it?
And your eye pain decoder ring does not disappoint. It actually starts by reassuring us that, thankfully, most cases of eye pain can be resolved with pretty simple measures.
Okay, that's what I like to hear. Simple. So tell me more about these simple measures. What can people do to get some relief?
Well, for starters, your eye pain decoder ring talks about home remedies, especially for dry eyes. A warm compress that can work wonders to get those tears flowing.
Soothing.
Right. And then there's always over-the-counter artificial tears, like giving your eyes a little drink of water, a little lubrication, like a mini spa day for your eyes.
I love it. But what if those home remedies just aren't cutting it? Like, when do you know it's time to actually see a doctor?
Your eye pain decoder ring is actually really good about this. It basically says if the pain's sticking around, if it's getting worse instead of better, or especially if you're having any of those red flag symptoms we talked about, those warning signs, it's time to make that appointment.
Yeah, you don't want to mess around with your vision. And speaking of not messing around, your decoder ring also talks about eye drops. And I've got to say, I'm a little bit of an eye drop junkie myself. I love that cooling sensation. But are all eye drops created equal?
That's a great question.
Hmm.
And honestly, it's something a lot of people don't even think about, but using the wrong kind of eye drops can actually make things worse. It's true.
Okay, now you've got my attention. Tell me more.
So you've basically got two main types of eye drops out there. There are the lubricating ones. Those are the ones for dry eyes, basically like a big glass of water for your cornea.
Okay.
And then you've got your medicated eye drops. And those are made to treat specific things like an infection or if there's inflammation.
Oh, so you can't just use them interchangeably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Using the wrong type might not just be ineffective, it could actually make your symptoms even worse. Or even, like, mask what's really going on so you don't get the right treatment.
Wow, I had no idea there was so much to it. I'm definitely guilty of just grabbing whatever's on sale. So, bottom line, if we're dealing with eye pain, especially if it's not going away or if it's getting worse, the best thing to do is talk to a professional.
100%. Because they can figure out exactly what's going on and make sure you're getting the right treatment.
They're like your own personal eye care guide. Okay, before we wrap up our deep dive into your eye pain decoder ring, there's one more thing I wanted to touch on. Your material mentions how our vision changes as we age. What's the connection there to eye pain and just overall eye health?
Oh, that's a great question. We could do a whole nother deep dive just on that. But basically, as we get older, the lens inside our eye, it's like it gets less flexible, you know? And that can make it harder to focus on things close up.
Oh, so that's why my grandma's always using those reading glasses. It's not a fashion statement.
Exactly. It's called presbyopia, and it's totally normal. But here's the thing. It can lead to eye strain, headaches, even eye pain, especially if you're doing a lot of writing or if you're staring at screens all day, especially in dim lighting.
So those reading glasses are actually serving a really important purpose.
They are. And just like those reading glasses can help correct those age-related vision changes, there are things we can do at any age to take care of our eyes and protect our vision. It really all comes back to listening to your body, knowing the warning signs, and getting help when you need it.
Words to live by. Well, there you have it, a deep dive into your very own personalized eye pain decoder ring. We talked about what causes eye pain, those red flag warning signs, and even what you can do about it all. What an adventure.
And most importantly, you've got all the information now. You're empowered to advocate for your own eye health. And knowledge is power, right?
I love that knowledge is power. Well, before we go, any final words of wisdom from our eye health guru? Something for our listeners to think about as they head out into the world hopefully with a newfound appreciation for their amazing eyes.
We've talked about so much dry eyes, how much time we spend on screens, even how our vision changes as we get older. But what if, instead of thinking about eye health as this separate thing, we saw it as part of our total well-being? Our sleep, how stressed we are, our screen habits, it all plays a role.
Wow. I never thought of it like that, but it's so true. It really is all connected. Taking care of our eyes means taking care of ourselves, mind, body, the whole package.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Well, there you have it, your very own personalized deep dive into decoding those weird little eye pains. We explored those everyday culprits, those red flag warnings to watch out for, and even what you can do to feel better and keep your precious eyesight in tip-top shape.
And remember, you're not alone. Eye pain is so common, and the good news is most of the time it's treatable, especially if you catch it early.
So important. And on that note, a huge thank you to you for sending in your eye pain decoder ring. This has been eye-opening for all of us, I think.
I agree.
Until next time, be kind to your eyes, everyone, and don't forget to blink.